Okay. All right, we should be live and you should be able to hear me. Awesome. Okay, we got some folks in here. Everybody's starting early, I see. Hello, Matt, Ruben, and Sparkster. Codename New2Vera2, who came through once again with the G.I. Joe classified figures, and in particular the Target exclusive Cobra Island Cobra Trooper. We'll have to talk about that a little bit. Hi, Brandon. Always nice to see you, Brandon. And Megan Barker, nice to see you as well. Hello, Parker, and Lazarus, and Zathras. That's a lot of Z's in just two names there. Hello, Big Gay Dave, and Joe Ricondo. The Killer Weezer, nice to see you. Hello, G.I. Joe Espanol, and Gary, and James. Wow, nice to see everyone. Hello, Doug Dello. And Project Dark Corp, and James aka Ratface, and Tony Jackson, and Curtis Schultz. You guys, you're too fast. I can't keep up. Hello, G.I. Gary and Viper 269, MCDJ ACDC, Rob M and JK Siege. Yeah, and I'm trying to keep up, but I think what last week's live stream proved is that some of you guys are better off if I don't keep up so well with the live chat, because when I do keep up a little better, I start to notice some misbehaving. But I'm going to do my best. Hello, Dr. Wolfman and Alcino. Good evening. Mike Layton and Chris Clements. Hello, Go Boy. And Bad Ape and Tony Jackson. Gemini 605. Cobra Island, of course. Hello, Cobra Island. Nice to see you there as well. One of our new Cobra Convergence participants. Hello, Butch and Paul. Burgess Meredith. Loves you and Rocky. How many times has everybody gone to Target in the last week? That's a fair question. I have gone twice. So, that's a fair question. Now, you're not supposed to be able to get any of the Target figures yet, but some people have gotten lucky. With Mr. New2Vera2 being one of them. But, yeah. But hey, you know, it's worth checking. It can't hurt to check, right? Hello, Painted Plastic. Nice to see you. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and get that done right off the top here. Because there are going to be some new Target exclusive G.I. Joe 6-inch figures with the Cobra Island subtitle, and it includes some really nice figures like a Beachhead and a Cobra Trooper and a Baroness, and a Roadblock figure that doesn't look like Roadblock, but still it's got a Roadblock figure. They did a pre-order. The pre-order was sold out instantly because of bots. Oh, hello, SEO Toy Review, and also nice to see that blue logo. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, so the pre-order didn't go well. So they were supposed to go live at on August 14th, but it was announced today, or was it yesterday? It was announced yesterday that they were moving the date up, so they're going to go. They're going to be available at retail and online on August 1st, which coincidentally is the first day of Cobra Convergence. Hello, Leah. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, the street date for the Target exclusive figures has been moved up. Eventually, there should be plenty of them out there, readily available, easy to find, Yeah, Zathras, I'm not convinced that it's a coincidence either. Now we just need to get logo. Hasbro has a blue logo already, so I guess they're already ready for Cobra Convergence. Yeah, the tags are on the shelves. The tags are on the shelves at my Target as well. I did go to the Target and I found the pegs, so they're ready. They should be there, and now they're saying they're going to be there on August 1st. So, yes, changing Cobra Red. That's very good point, Gary. Good point. Would say it's diabolical. Yes, that is something Kirk Bazigian would say. Yeah, they're ripping me off. That's it. I'm going to sue them. They're ripping me off. Even though it's their property. So anyway, the codename Nutu Vertu, he got a Cobra Trooper. He's got a video on that. You definitely should watch that video, especially if you want to know more about the Cobra Trooper. But he makes a very good point, is that there are a lot of scalpers that have put up these figures for exorbitant prices. There were the people who apparently bought these figures using bots. And I would recommend that you not pay those prices. Hello, codename Cujo. I got a codename No2Vero2 and a codename Cujo. So everybody's got a codename. Nice to see you, Cujo. Happy to see you here. Hello, Martin. So I would discourage anyone from paying scalper prices for these. These figures will be available. You will be able to get them. You'll be able to order them online, even if you can't make it to the brick and mortar store. They'll be around. The pre-order was totally botched. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. But I would encourage people to not reward that kind of behavior by paying inflated prices for something that you will be able to get at a regular retail price if you wait just a little while. Hello, Nyquist, nice to see you. So, yeah, so don't make scalping profitable, is what I'm saying. The use of bots is hello, Green Yeti, nice to see you. The use of bots to purchase up everything that's being offered on a website, on a pre-order or something like that, there's an expense involved in that. Those bots that they use, they're not free. They have to purchase those. And those bots can be expensive. They're often used for more high-end items, but they can also be used for things like, exclusive toys, buying up everything before anyone else gets a chance. So these scalpers who use that method are already investing money in let's call it a criminal enterprise. I'm not sure that it's necessarily a crime, but it ought to be. But they've already invested money in it. And then they expect to get a huge profit margin because that's the only way you can get these. Well, don't give them that profit margin. Make them eat that expense. And get those at retail. Just wait until they're available, because they will be available. They'll be available soon. They'll be available in sufficient numbers that everybody can get what they want. So just relax and don't reward selfish and unethical behavior. I really like the way I stated that. That was good. somebody should write that down. Somebody transcribe that. I feel like that was probably the best speech since the Gettysburg Address. I feel like I've said everything that there is to say about it. So anyway, hey, it's Tuesday. Timmer from Half the Battle has a new video up. He's got a top 10 list. And Cobra Convergence is coming really soon. And thank you, Paul Murray. And I got a message from FormBX257. So I know everybody was worried about him. Nobody had heard from him for quite some time. Everybody was concerned that maybe he's dead. And you know, he's normally in Cobra Convergence. He's been in Cobra Convergence every year. But he hadn't responded to messages. He hadn't reached out to anyone. But he did send me a message, and he did reach out to me, and he told me that I could convey to everyone that he is safe, he's alive, he's fine, and he's just been very busy with work. Apparently, he has to travel a lot with work. I don't know what he does for a living, but whatever he does, he's having to travel a lot, and he just hasn't had the time to invest in making videos or, you know, being on social media and stuff. So he just hasn't been able to keep up with anything. He's just been working a lot. So he's good. It's unfortunately he's not able to fully participate in Cobra Convergence 5 because he is still busy. But he will be doing some cameos for some of us, so he will still be in the event. It's just that he's not able to be like a full participant with like a full video. But I think that's a load off my mind. I was really relieved to hear from him and to hear that he was okay. But he is okay. If you were concerned, he's all right. He has reemerged, but yeah. So I wanted to let everybody know, if you hadn't heard already, to reassure everyone that the granddaddy of G.I. Joe on YouTube, FormBX257, is safe and sound. Yes, Weather Dominator Research. That. And Rob, just to make sure that my memory isn't faulty, because it sometimes is, but Rob, you did the rack time for the What's on Joe Mind podcast, covering the Rob Liefeld Snake Eyes Dead Game comic book. Am I mistaken about that, or was you, wasn't it? Fess up, sir. Use the mass device to travel. Yeah. That makes me the father of G.I. Joe reviews, if he's the granddaddy. Because I mean, obviously Kevin and I look so much alike that we have to, we're obviously related. That should be the great climax for this year, is when he reaches out and says, "I am your father." Yes, it was Rob, and the reason I asked is because I did like that analysis of that book. So Rob Liefeld has a comic book out about Snake Eyes, and responses have been mixed. I've heard from folks that really liked it, like really liked it, like loved it. I do have it. And thank you to Painted Plastic for sending that to me. And also, Painted Plastic sent me another comic book that I haven't been able to show everyone yet, but I will. I've been a little bit busy, but I'd actually had a chance to read the Rob Liefeld comic. And for those who liked it, I'm really glad that you did. And certainly, Rob Liefeld has a lot of fans. For me, it had a lot of the same issues that Rob Liefeld comic books always have. I'm sorry, I'm trying to adjust this a little bit. Oh, without knocking my microphone down. So, yeah. So, but like Rob, Codename Newtuvero 2 has a video about it, and he really liked it. Rob Irizarry did the Racktime episode for What's on Your Mind. That was very good. So if you are in any way interested in that comic book, it's out. Try to get yourself a copy. Of course, the better it does, the higher it raises G.I. Joe's profile. And that's the main thing that most of us were hoping for with a Rob Liefeld comic book. But your mileage may vary on how much you like it. There was something like, I don't want to go into it too much because if I start, then we'll be here all evening talking about this. Snake Eyes has magically vanishing and reappearing guns, and surprisingly, and I think Rob pointed this out, but surprisingly not enough pouches. But I'll just, you guys, you make sure you read it. If you're interested. If you're not, then don't. But Painted Plastic says it's sold out, second printing coming later. So hey, it's apparently selling well. So yeah, go. Okay, and holes in his gun. Now, yeah, that's another issue with the classified Snake Eyes that I had to point out. Hello, Marvel and DC. Nice to see you. Suborzor. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Sub Guy. Hello, Sub Guy. Nice to see you. So I did a video, like just a general overview of the classified Wave 1 figures that went up on Sunday. I wanted to have something for you guys since I didn't have a video review to go up. So I had the Wave 1 figures, so it was kind of an unscripted video. I just kind of went with the flow and kind of described what I was seeing and what I thought about them. And generally, I do like them. And some of them I ended up liking a lot better than I expected. But others I ended up liking less than I expected. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. That Snake Eyes figure, it's a figure that looks really good. But in just having the figure in my hand, it doesn't feel solid. Now that may be a quality control issue. You may get a Snake Eyes figure and it may have tight joints. It may feel good and solid and not feel gummy. The plastic may not be as excessively soft as mine was, but even if it's a quality control issue, I still have to include that in my critique, because if there are quality control issues, then you need to know about that. Because if I don't include that in my review, you may get one based on what you see in my video, and there's quality control problems. Oh, thank you, Paul Murray, for the super chat. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. Codename Newtuvero 2 says, I agreed, it looks better in the box than to play with. Yeah. And Matt says, none of the Snake Eyes classified toys have tight joints. I was wondering about that because I thought somebody else had complained about that too. Yeah, and Rob, that I agree as well. I didn't think I would care much for Roadblock, but Roadblock is solid. That's a really solid figure. But I was really expecting to like Snake Eyes more than I thought I would. But man, it is tough to get the guy just to pose. The joints, at least on my figure, are really that loose. Green Yeti says, I tighten my Snake Eyes classified joints. Good. And that's if you're able to do that, that's absolutely awesome. As for the review, though, I really got to tell you what you're going to get in the box, though. So I'm going based on this is the experience of the thing that I got. Hello, the Human Mechanism, Mark II. Nice to see you here. Sorry you won't be able to be in Cobra Convergence this year, but I hope that your issues go well. I hope that everything is fine and well with you. Codename to Vera 2 says, the other thing is, do we feel Hasbro is dropping the ball trying to appeal to younger generation than just us older guys? This is a fair thing. I think it is also true that these classified figures aren't really designed or marketed to kids. They're really made for adult collectors, and they're marketed for adult collectors. They're priced for adult collectors. And I think that's fine, but this is not the thing that's going to bring in like a new generation of G.I. Joe fans. Rob says, my Snake Eye is a little loose at the waist, but the other joints are good. I can only get his knife halfway. Hold on, let me take a look at the knife, because when I was messing with the knife, I didn't seem to have much problem with it, but other people have mentioned that they've had a hard time with the knife. I'm going to go get the guy right up there real quick. Hang on, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Now, and here's the thing about it being an overview, is that I didn't go into as much detail as I would with a regular review. And one thing that I really regretted, and I didn't think about it till afterwards, is I didn't actually take the sword out of the sheath and show you what the unsheathed sword looks like. And and it is true, the knee joints are all right. The waist is and the torso. Really, the arms on mine, at least at the shoulder, also quite loose. Anyway, the knife. This knife, this is the knife. It's like a curved knife with a serrated edge, and it goes in that sheath. And Mine doesn't fall out. Mine goes in without any problem. Now, the backpack has a hard time staying in. I'm not loving that. But yes, other folks have had trouble with the knife. And the guns with the holes in them, the guns have holes in them. Yes, so there's that. Yeah, it's still floppy. But anyway, some quality control issues. That's what I'm saying. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Because that may not be important to you. If that's not important to you, then it don't matter. You may want that figure anyway if you have other priorities when it comes to action figures. He needs a new O-ring. Yes, Bart, I'll get right on that. All I have to do is figure out where the screw in the back is. I don't see the screw, but I'll get a new O-ring on him. Now, I will also point out that Action Force, the Kickstarter, the Valaverse line of 6-inch figures, will have realistic military weapons that you should be able to get and use with these classified figures. They'll be in the right scale. So if you want Snake Eyes to have his Uzi, if you want Roadblock to have his M2, you will be able to get them, just not with classified. In addition to that, there is the G.I. Joe Operation Blackout game that's coming out. The cover art was released. It's going to be on Xbox One and PS4. The cover art has the classified uniforms. So the versions of the Joes that we get in the game may be based... In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say probably will be based on the classified designs. And I do want to say one more thing about the design choices on classified. Although I don't necessarily agree with all of them, all of the design choices, pardon me, I have to disagree that these designs are a radical departure from the vintage figure designs. They are different, but the differences between, for instance, this Snake Eyes and the 1985 Snake Eyes is really superficial. He's got the elements that you would expect. He's got the bandolier with the grenades. He's got the sword and the correct sword. He's got the visor mask from that version. And he's got, of course, a lot of other additional details that some of them are reminiscent of the G.I. Joe Retaliation uniform, but that itself was an update of the 1985 figure. So, yes, it has some differences, but the differences are not really fundamental. And I think that's especially the case with Roadblock. Oh, thank you, Matt Rubin. He says the game will be $39.99 and released in October. Thank you very much for that information, Mr. Matt Rubin. Much appreciated. Especially that Roadblock figure, it's basically Roadblock version 2, but updated. And I like the updates. I like the colors better than the original. So, yeah, for the most part, they're not identical to the vintage figures, except, scaled up, but definitely inspired by very specific vintage figure designs. And I think the one major exception to that is the new Roadblock figure from Target. That it doesn't look like Roadblock to me. It just doesn't. So we got a Roadblock figure in the general release, and then we're going to get a Target exclusive Roadblock figure. It's supposed to be the same guy. Fine. He wears a different uniform. Fine. His beard is like this long in the Target release, and it's like this long in the regular retail release. Again, that would be fine, except this doesn't represent just Roadblock in a different uniform. It represents Roadblock at a different time in his life, right? Because there must have been some time that has passed for the beard to grow about the equivalent of 3 inches. Looks like a James Harden bulked up from NBA hiatus. Yeah, see? So, now if the Target Roadblock is the younger Roadblock, he could shave his beard, and the next day he has a short beard. So it could be Roadblock, one day apart if the Target one is the younger one, right? But if the the regular release roadblock is the younger one, then the target roadblock has to have aged a bit to have a beard that long. So it's not just like different kind of roadblock. It's not just a roadblock in a different uniform. Oh, thank you, Paul Murray. He says, are we all hoping for year one releases in the 6-inch? Can we in any way encourage this? Are we all hoping for year one releases in 6-inch? I mean, I would encourage it. I don't know if that's what they're planning to do. I think they're sticking with, right now, the characters that tend to be the most popular, which is why, Duke, Snake Eyes, Destro, Cobra Commander. But I think we should expect a Zartan at some point. But I love the original Green 13, and I would love to see them represented in that scale. So I think it would be great, but I haven't heard any rumors that they're planning to do that. So yeah, that's what I have to say about the target roadblock, is that it's just not it's not just roadblock puts on a different uniform. This is roadblock several months to several years apart, unless he sneezed really hard and his beard went like poof. So yeah, I just see it as a different guy. It's a different guy. To me, they can call him Roadblock, but to me, it's a different guy. And the figure's fine. I actually kind of dig the shirt. I think that's cool. But to me, it's a different guy. So I saw somebody asking what Cobra Convergence is, and I'm sorry I missed your comment. I saw it out of the corner of my eye as I was... I tell you, I swear, my eyes shut off once I start talking. Cobra Convergence is an annual event that a lot of G.I. Joe fans do. We get together, we collaborate, we have a calendar where each person that is involved in the event creates something that is in some way related to Cobra. A lot of us do YouTube videos, but there are also podcasts and photographers, and this time there are going to be some cosplayers. So there are all kinds of different creators doing amazing things related to G.I. Joe. And for a specific day in August, they're going to dedicate their work to Cobra. Thank you, Jay Famous, for the super chat. He says, Hoarders out in full force. Greedy jerk named Rodizon posted pictures of his 12 Cobra troopers 3 weeks before the street date. So he went out and bought 12 before you're even supposed to get any. That's a little bit on the greedy side. If he's not reselling them, at least it's not as bad as if he's trying to scalp them. But that does reduce the opportunity for others to get them. But again, I encourage people to just hang loose. These will be available. You will be able to get them. Javon Smith says, I'm a Joe, not a Cobra. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes, Dusty became a Cobra for a while, and he switched back. So, you can just become a Cobra for a month, then you can quit and rejoin the G.I. Joe team. But yeah, we try. It's to serve a couple of different purposes. We want to do something that brings the community together and encourages people to create and be active and collaborate and work together. And we also do it to try to elevate the profile of G.I. Joe and kind of make people notice it a little bit more. So we do our best, and we've done, I think, fairly well for this is the 5th year. It's coming up really soon. It starts August 1st. It runs all the way through August 31st. Every single day, you're going to get a new creator, a new either a podcast or a YouTube channel or a toy photographer or something, there is a calendar that is on HCC788.com. So you can see a whole calendar of who is participating and what day they're going to be posting their stuff. And that's not all. That's not all. For those who are not on the calendar, there is still an opportunity to participate. So every week I'm going to be doing a promotional, like a montage video. So if you have any kind of online presence and you want to create something, whatever it is, dedicated to Cobra for that month, and if you send it to me and follow the instructions, then I will put your stuff in that video and promote it. It'll be like a weekly promotion video for everyone in the G.I. Joe community who gets involved and just does something for Cobra Convergence. So that's that's an opportunity if you're not on the calendar but still want to do something. Just consider that. So if there are instructions for that as well on HCC788.com, so go there if you want to see what you can do. And I'm hoping that a lot of people will participate this year. A lot of people will create something. I will do my best to promote it and get it out there for everyone to see, because I think we have a really strong and vibrant and creative community. And I want to show that off. I want people to see that. So consider that. If you do anything, if it's a YouTube channel or a blog or I don't know what, anything that you do that's creative, consider just doing something related to Cobra for one day in August. And I would love to see it. And this was the great thing about last year, is that a lot of people, I was just excited to see what people sent, because it was just cool to see the different kind of creativity that people were able to express. And now it says I'm disconnected from the live chat. I'm disconnected from my own live chat. Oh, it's reconnected now. We're reconnected. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. Well, we've got a lot of featured participants right here, including Byron, Joe Motion Videos 82. Hello, Byron. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. And codename New2Vera2 right there. Cujo is part of G.I. Joeberg, and G.I. Joeberg is also going to be involved. Yes, Joeberg definitely in the mix. In fact, oh, hello, Dagon. Sorry, I didn't see you come in, but hello. In fact, G.I. Joeberg is the first up. When it came time to select, your position on the calendar, they chose August 1st. So I hope they're ready. I'm looking forward to it. Hello, Turd Ferguson. Try not to panic. Remember those words written in big friendly letters on the back of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Remember those wise words. So yes. See, Ron, and it's too late. So everybody panicked. Everybody got to just chill, just settle down. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Everything's fine and cool, and also everything is cool and fine. But yes, that is what Cobra Convergence is in a nutshell, and that's kind of what I wanted to spend most of the time talking about. Oh, hello, and thanks for the super chat, Jay, again. Thank you. It says, he likely scalped 6 of them, swiped out the stock for everyone in his town. That stinks. Can't trust Hasbro to effectively restock and clean up. But yeah, 'cause it is true that Hasbro's distribution has had issues. So long and thanks for all the fish. Yeah. There is still the option of ordering online, but it's not quite the same as going and actually finding them in the store. So I hope that folks are able to go and find the toys actually in the stores, because that's one thing I'm excited about. As I'm excited to have G.I. Joe at retail again, and I want to see it. I want to go into a store and pick it up and walk up to a cash register with it. That's something I haven't been able to do in a long time. And I did get a few items from the 50th anniversary, but that's been several years ago. Javon says, been watching G.I. Joe episodes so far from 2019 to 2020. Are you watching the free episodes that Hasbro has put on YouTube? Because I think that's really cool that they actually put the episodes up for anyone to watch on YouTube. It is available in a few other places where you can watch it without having to pay for it, but YouTube is a platform, that a lot of people actually have access to. Maybe not everybody has access to all of those other platforms, but yeah, so you can actually go and watch the episodes, which I've done a little bit. It's actually made some of the research a little easier for me. So I have all the episodes already. I have everything on DVD. But sometimes shuffling through the DVD to find a particular episode is a little bit difficult. But it's easier when you can just type in, like, this episode, and it comes up, and you can actually watch the thing on YouTube. That's really cool. And I see a couple people saying Tubi. Yes, Tubi is a platform that has the cartoon episodes. The Hub. That was a thing that existed. Who mentioned... Rob said they put up another 20 episodes this week. So... that's a lot of cartoon episodes to watch, and they're easy to watch, which I think is great. And we've dumped on Hasbro a bit, fairly, but I think it's also fair to give Hasbro credit in that they are really trying to, maybe slowly over time, raise the profile of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe plays on Discover Family. Okay, well, I that one I don't have. So if you do have that, there is a thing to look up the G.I. Joe episodes on. But they're trying. There is G.I. Joe out right now. There are cartoon episodes that they didn't have to put it out there, but they put them out there so everybody can watch them. There's a new comic book that just came out. There's going to be a retro line, and I know how we feel about the retro line, but it's still something that's going to be out. Whether you really want to call it new. Well, some of the figures, some parts of the figures at least, are new, but it's still something that's going to be on the shelves and on the pegs and ready and available for people to see and buy. And that's really cool. On the downside, again, not Hasbro's fault, it does look like they are pushing the Snake Eyes movie out to next year. I can't blame Hasbro or Paramount for that. That is probably a necessity. Probably not much choice in that. It's unfortunate because I was really looking forward to seeing it, but I'm sure they want everyone to have the movie theater experience. and if they didn't push it out, then you wouldn't have that. So they're looking at 2021 rather than October, and I don't blame Hasbro for that. I think that probably was mostly out of their control. At any rate, but there are things going on right now. There's the video game out, which is the second video game, because there's already the phone game, the War on Cobra game, which I was interested in for a while until I lost interest, but it's still out there. So yeah, they've tried to give us something for G.I. Joe after not having anything for several years. And to the Hasbro people who are not watching this, I'll say thanks. I do appreciate it. Any criticism that comes from this direction is only because I want you to do well, and I want you to not make mistakes, and I want the line to do well. Hello, JB. Aaron says, like JoeFan82 said, better late and better than rushed and subpar. I agree. So I'm not worried too much about the Snake Eyes movie being kicked back. We will get it. It will happen. But it does give them a little bit more time to work on it, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But at any rate, there are some things that Hasbro is doing that I think they're doing well. And even the things that they're not doing super well at, some of those things may not be entirely in their control. And even the things that are in their control that they also screw up, it's still effort. They're still trying. They're still attempting to give us something. And I have to appreciate that. Just having the experience of having G.I. Joe out there, I think, is great. And I'm saying this as a vintage collector, right? I will not get everything that comes out. I do intend to get maybe a couple more of the planned classified figures other than what I already have pre-ordered. But I don't intend to get the whole second wave. I don't intend... I'll get things that I'm interested in or that I like, but I'm not going to be anything near a completist when it comes to all this new stuff. I collect vintage stuff, and I still have plenty of stuff in that area that I need to get. So for me, this is all just bonus. But even at that, even with, not really being completely invested in it, I still get some excitement out of the fact that there is G.I. Joe again. Toda says, have you received any packages from Finland lately? It sent you like 2 months ago. I don't think so. I will double check. But I don't know if you have tracking on that. But I will say that I sent something to Timmer in March, and it still hasn't left Chicago. I check it every day now. So it's possible it could have been hung up. But I will be checking the P.O. box again on Friday. So if it makes it to me, then I will open it on camera for an unboxing video. But thank you. No matter what, I will say thank you for thinking of me, and thank you for sending something. That's very considerate and very kind of you. I really appreciate that, especially sending from as far away as Finland. But I will just add that caveat that I've tried to send something to Belgium, and it's just hung up. It's in that same warehouse where they put the Ark of the Covenant after Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's somewhere in there. And I'm hoping someday it resurfaces and actually makes it to Belgium. We shall see. But anyway, so but there's a lot of positive, and I don't know that I'm necessarily a focus on the positive guy. I'm always tell it like it is guy, but that's not always negative. And to be fair and honest and truthful, you have to point out the positive as well. Yes, it's guarded by top men, and it may never be seen again. But I really appreciate the effort. I really do. Man of Action says, is Joe Fest going to be in Alexandria this year? It's Augusta, Georgia, not Alexandria, but I haven't been told it is canceled. So as long as it's not canceled, I will be there. I'm still sort of waiting for... I'm waiting to see what really happens, because I'm concerned that even if Ed doesn't cancel it, there's always a possibility that the venue might. So, yes, 46 top men are on it. I sent Timmer some really cool stuff too, and when it eventually gets to Belgium, his mind will be blown. But yeah, I sent that back in March, and it is now the end of July, and it's still in Chicago. And in case you're wondering, I did open a case on it, but they make it really difficult for you to actually call someone and ask about a package. It is almost impossible to actually reach a human being and ask them where your thing is. Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, but I digress. The point being... there's some good stuff. There is some good stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited for the start of Cobra Convergence. I'm excited that this year's Cobra Convergence is getting kicked off in the midst of kind of a G.I. Joe resurgence. See, Cobra is converging and G.I. Joe is resurging. We've got a resurgence convergence. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So I hope everybody is keeping that in mind, even with all of the frustrations. And I do not overlook the frustrations. I have experienced them myself. But I hope everybody's keeping in mind that, hey, we're getting stuff right now. We're getting stuff when we hadn't for a long time. I'm not sure what I know what you mean, Parker. You'll have to elaborate on that. A 4-foot flag. 4 foot is 4-foot flag. Now a 4-foot like flag, not like the boat flag, but like a flag. You could probably get one of those right now. Target probably has those. Go get you an American flag, 4 foot. Yeah, that could happen. So yeah, it's a 10-foot flag. You can get you probably a 10-foot flag too. Target may have to order those, but I bet you can get you a 10-foot flag. Honestly, I'm really optimistic about a lot of things right now. Things are going well. Okay. Some things are going well. The things that are not going well, we have pointed out very clearly. But despite that, there are still a lot of things that are happening for us that are good things. How many times do they have to release the Hiss tank? That's fair. That's another criticism that people have leveled at the retro line. But the thing is, if it's a retro line, then it's gonna... And retro means that it would be old stuff. So the fact that they released the All Striker and the Hiss tank, those items are more retro than the figures. So those items at least actually fit the description of retro. And even though I don't have any interest in the figures, I may get the vehicles specifically because I want to be able to point out to people the difference between the retro line and the vintage, because I don't want anybody to get ripped off by somebody passing off the vintage or the retro re-release as real vintage. So I want to put that on camera and make sure that that's totally clear to everyone what they should look for, because there is almost nothing more frustrating than buying something that you expect to be a genuine vintage item, something that you've been looking for, something you've been waiting to get. You've done your due diligence, you've hunted for it, you got what you think is the vintage item to fill the spot in your collection, and you find out that it's not. You find out that it's some modern reissue, or it's a reproduction. That is so frustrating. And so I want to see what I can do to help with that. So if you want the retro re-release, then you will get the retro re-release. But at the same time, you don't want to get one and find out it's the other. So we'll see what we can do about that. So for that reason, I will consider getting the vehicles. But the carded figures, there's not really much there for me. So that's just my opinion. Difference is primarily in the cockpit of the HISS to accommodate the larger 25th figures. And that is something to keep in mind. And that is something to keep in mind, is that the figures, they kept saying 3 3/4 inch figures on the that Fan First Friday thing. And they're not 3 3/4 inch. They're average 4-inch figures. And so they are taller. They're a little bit taller than the vintage figures. So yeah, some vehicles have had to make additional room in the cockpit. Other vehicles, like the vintage Fang helicopter, has a peg on the seat that is not compatible with the modern figures. So you can't just put a modern figure on there, because there's like a back peg that'll just jab into his back. So yeah, so some accommodations have to be made for the modern figure construction. And some people may like those modifications. One thing that was modified on the modern Sky Striker is it's a 1-seater instead of a 2-seater, right? So they took out one of the seats, but the cockpit is much more detailed and much more realistic than the vintage cockpit. The vintage cockpit was actually quite bare. So depending on what your priorities are, you could consider that to be an upgrade. You need a baby HCC to keep up with SEO toy reviews and baby Skeletor. See, I don't want to copy. I don't want to copy SEO. SEO's got it. Right? Props to SEO. They have a really cool mascot. But I tell you what, hang on. I got like 2 minutes left in this live stream, but I'm gonna go get something. Be right back. Wait for me. Right. I will return. I'll show you what I was thinking. What I was thinking I might use as a mascot. Hold on. All right. So this is my childhood Mego Superman figure. As you can see, he's missing pretty much everything. His face is discolored, and he's not in great shape at all. It is still intact, but his uniform's pretty rough. So I had thought about using this guy as a mascot. He's one of the very few childhood toys that I still have. But the personality that I was going to give him was that of an internet troll. And he was going to basically represent all internet trolls. And so that would be his interaction with me. And basically, I would be his foil. And I'd have to bleep out every other word that he said because he would just swear. He'd like every other word that he say would be just the most vile swear words that he could think of. And he'd just swear a blue string and I'd have to bleep everything. So that was going to be the gag, right? Because it's Superman, you know, truth, justice, and the American way, and take your vitamins and say your prayers and all that. So everybody would be expecting him to be a nice, friendly guy. And then as soon as he starts talking, it's just, you know, a string of 4-letter words. But I decided not to do that for a couple reasons. First of all, it doesn't really have anything to do with G.I. Joe. It's a Superman. And second of all, it's actually kind of a pain to bleep out all that stuff. So yeah, that mascot ended up not coming about, but that was my idea. Not as cool a mascot as Baby Skeletor, I admit. Hang on a minute. I admit it's not as good a mascot as Baby Skeletor, but this was almost a channel mascot. I thought about it, but didn't happen. But anyway, it is time to wrap things up, and the dog is demanding to go outside, so it's a good time to wrap things up. So thank you, everyone, for showing up. Oh, sorry, Real Aaron Collins. Sorry I missed you. I've been doing great. But yes, it's time to wrap things up. We will do this again next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, we are going to be in Cobra Convergence. Make sure you check out G.I. Joe Berg on August 1st for the first entry in Cobra Convergence 5. And with that, I will say, good night.